Hello, and where are we today? We are at crossroads. What happens at crossroads? For individuals, crossroads means unless you know where you are going, you will be, these days, they'll be looking for Google, Facebook, advice from WhatsApp groups, advice from all technological advantage that we have in our hands will direct us to where we want to go. Yet, is that really where you wish to go? Or is it where the technology is diverting you from your real and most genuine and fulfilling life? These days, there's so much going on, from lockdown to curfew to turmoil. Turmoil not in the political spectrum. Leave the politics to the side. Not in the realms of religion, not in the realms of financial and livelihood. Just think about the life. It is just packaged. Everything to do with life is packaged in one. Life means also death is packaged. If you realize the fragility, the impermanence, and the very fragile nature and the very mortality of life, how do we live as a human being? Why we have been called a human being is that we are the most evolved in our cerebral capability, in a neurological capacity. We are the most evolved creature on earth. There's no other creature that can consciously, responsibly, accountably conduct a same transaction that all other creatures are carrying out as well. So that means that we can move from our compulsive and reflective behaviors into more awakened, more conscious, and even more importantly, we could be responsible in what we are doing. If this becomes the fundamental foundation of our education, and accept the fact that there is just one world, there is just one existence, there is just one cosmic space, and there is one planet, and there is just one life, and it is all energy and vibration. Once we learn that this is a piece of life, and without getting identified, without getting packed into a limited capacity or limited portion or limited by thought, emotions, all of this and everything else that goes around. Why don't we become a life with endless possibilities, and also become life with the universe and the existence and the cosmic space? So which means with this life and every life is without a boundary or without a bondage to make it a selfish intention, and that we become life as universal value, which means without limiting to oneself, and applying and practicing and living the very experience of life as a one whole. In this, the chances or intentions and thought of being able to divide that this is me and that is you, or this is me and that is her, or that is him, or that is the universe. The real trouble that we have on our planet is that we have been educated with our challenges. We've been told the old methods of living, which is now rising to the top. And nobody has a solution, because all they know is what their grandparents and their parents for generations and generations, for decades and centuries and millennia, has been told that this is how it is. With this education and with this very convoluted, twisted ideas about life, and trying to create governments, policies, laws, credentials, loyalty, justice, all of this is not going to work. What's going to work is that as conscious and mortal and real human beings can come to realize that what you wish in life at the highest is exactly what every life is seeking for. When we call strive to thrive to the fullest, is what every life is looking for. So if you think by creating yourself an exclusive way to live isn't going to solve any problem that we as human beings have created. There are no problems on this planet. The planet is a phenomenal experience of life to its fullest, and it's showing us how it lives. As a whole, the sun doesn't discriminate, the moon doesn't discriminate, the weather doesn't discriminate, the energies on the planet doesn't discriminate, the forces of our existence doesn't discriminate. It is the human limitations and the human convoluted thoughts, the human's convoluted intellect, twisted intellect, that is troubling the humanity on earth today. And this is, to me, finding it so painful to see, painful to hear, painful to feel the sense of sadness, sense of emotions and struggles across the world, in every life, not just in humans, but in every life that where human beings have become the most selfish, the most forgetful in making what could be and what can be an incredible life for all, has made it become a divisional complexity with such a unknown failures, unknown twisted complications. We've created this through generations, going way back, by introducing religions, introducing wars, introducing all kinds of spectra of life has been pulled and then divided and then separated, and then few have managed to win in favor of their own benefit and advantage and gain by causing tremendous hardship, tremendous pain, tremendous struggle, and tremendous refusal of life here on earth. For us to change, the first change has to come from within. With that change, if you continue to promote life without an identity, life as life, all the problems in our hands will simply dissolve. The life will take care of the problems when you allow the life to thrive and to fully fledge as life, and applaud and praise and cheer the joy and pleasantness of every life blossoming. Why do we teach? Why do we bring historical, painful, divisible ideas to a new life of a little infant, a newborn, a new child? The old habits, the old ideas must go away. We have come so far away from old, feudal, barbaric, and terrible conditions from the past, forefathers, generations, thousands of years. Those conditions must be put to rest at that times, and we must promote life for everyone. Just imagine the benefit that it reaps, not for yourself, but for every living piece of life on earth. Imagine imagine the vibrations, imagine the joy and the smiles, imagine the energy. Once it's been put into the highest fledged life, just imagine the sparkles in every life. Why would one want to deny, refuse, terminate a life? We must celebrate life, and we must leave the nature to decide every life. All we have to do is to enjoy the free spring that the earth is spinning, the cyclical movements of life. Everything vital to life is happening for you, for me, for every other creature and every life. Your heart is beating for you. You're not doing anything. Your lungs are breathing for you. You're not doing anything. If you're not even conscious, the amount of transactions that are inside my veins going up and down, I can't even hear it. Billions of transactions just occurring as I'm speaking. My kidneys are purifying. My digestion is happening. I'm not doing anything for this life. And just like every other life is happening, by nature has taken care of all the vital transactions of your life. All you and I. The earth is spinning. The gravitational forces are making us, just imagine all those forces that we are keeping our head, our body, our posture, only because the earth's rotation, the forces that involves us, keeping us alert, alive, and able. When everything vital to life is happening, what should you and I do? Enjoy the pleasures of life, right? And promote exactly the same joy and pleasantness and pleasures of living to the highest. And I wish every life on earth, the highest and the most beautiful, pleasant and joyful living here on earth, as your and my responsibility is that we conduct this life and every other life with the most gentle and the most conscious and the most embracing and the most incredible ways we can. Because if we did or did not do anything in life, every one of us will have to pass. And that is the nature of life. When that is the nature of life, what you and I have to do is what is not possible or what is possible is not for us to judge, but for us to thrive and together, by inclusive nature of life as it is, every transaction of our life is in transaction with every other life on the planet, from bacteria to virus to the air that we breathe, the food that we eat. We are in transaction. When this is what life is, how can we become so selfish, so arrogant, so aggressive with what is life around us? We cannot be exclusive in any way. But our education is such that it teaches that you are you, and the existence in the universe is something else, and everything else is not you. This convoluted, most shallow understanding of life has caused tremendous harm, tremendous pain, death and destruction. And the most awful things have been done on this planet because of this twisted teaching, twisted ideas from the past. Isn't it time for us to now realize the very time for us to realize what is extremely important for us to all do? Just imagine your body, your mind, your heart, your lungs, your digestive system. None of those organs in your body are on a free enterprise limiting its transaction and inclusiveness in your body. Every organ, every cell, every bacterial life, virus, germ in your life, in your body, is in constant transaction and communicating inclusively. Nothing is exclusive. The moment it becomes exclusive, like a cancerous cell in your body, what does it do? It's trying to eat into your life. And if the brain thinks it is the important, the most critical organ in the body, it takes all the blood and all the food and energy and all the life from your body. What will happen to your body? It will just decay, become just a waste, and you will just decay, you will just perish. Yet, this body does not do that. It is all in sync. It's all in synchronous dance of life and energy. And it's making it possible for all of us, for every life, when it's living. It doesn't take away and trying to squeeze off the life of the heart or life of the lungs, or if it does so, your days are numbered. In other words, you cease to exist as life. You become topsoil again. This piece of life I call myself as body is simply the food I've eaten and accumulated, and it's soil. I have to put it back, give it back to the earth. The mind, we call it, is a confusion of memory, what we gathered, impressions, expressions, what you heard, listened to, old stories, have no existential purpose of what you got here. What has an existential purpose is that Exhalation, I'm dead. Inhalation, I'm alive. This is beating endlessly, tirelessly, non-stop. And it is just a natural transactions are created in this body and with the exact infinite space of this universe. And it's in constant transaction. But what we have got as a psychological drama is playing out far more greater in terms of the realization of this existential life. The psychological and existential means that psychological drama can be playing out for what happened yesterday, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 200 years ago of knowledge you've gathered. And what is going to happen and what will happen and so on and so forth in the future. What is really critical and important is your existential existence right now as a piece of life. It may exist now. It can cease to exist just like that. When that ceases to exist and to be able to exist is so fine. The mortality is so. What rises to the surface, what becomes more important in everyone's life is to embrace life. Isn't it the only way that we can know what is life and what is not? Isn't it the only way for us to know the life to the fullest? Isn't it not the way for us to fully experience life to the highest possible nature of its life? Why don't we make this a living reality for every single life there is here? And for it to happen, your idea of politics, your idea of limited knowledge of religion, your idea of limited identity, and your idea of limited, what should I say? Your idea of limitations must make you realize when we look out to the existential realities of our universe, our planet, the cosmic space, and to the existence, isn't it time that we all must come to accept that what we know is a microspeck to what we do not know, is infinite and so big that we must not and accept what we do not know is an immense possibility and is an immense realization, and we should switch on our curiosity to know, to seek, to know. And that should encourage us all to live a more profound, more inclusive, and more embracing, more importantly, promote life the way it should be. We must never deny a life seeing and sharing these thoughts from a very deep and most painful times of our lives. I think in known memory, it must be the time that we can all become so conscious, gentle, and do what we can within our capacity and make it happen. And for that, going inwards, finding solutions by going inwards, we'll find an immense possibility out in this vastness of nothingness. And in that, making it realize that our limited knowledge of what we learn compared to our limitless possibilities out there is an incredible advantage, especially when you come here as a human being. Even more important is that we must all do what we can. It doesn't matter if we do not do what we cannot do. But what we can do, we must do in this short sparkle of life that we have here on earth. Because the earth or the existence will not miss you when you cease to exist as life. You're just a pop-up and a pop-off in this vastness of incredible earth that we share amongst all the galaxies and planets and stars. And people are wanting to becoming a star. The stars that we see in the sky may no longer exist in this vast cosmic space, because as you know, the distance of that star is such that by the time it reaches our retina, goes through the inverted image, by the time we see that star doesn't even exist. Just imagine, this is what we know of science. With that relationship, until we find something different, that is how insignificant we are here as human beings. When that is the case, isn't it important to be significant as a human being, as a human life? And doesn't it means that as a human being, we can be significant and we can be inclusive and we can be conscious and we can be an immense possibility for the entire living and thriving life all around us. We mustn't just think as a human being we are more significant than any other life. Human being means that we are significant and evolved to be able to embrace and cherish and promote every other life. That is the beauty of being a human. Thank you.